You have a okay, this is our Super Saturday uh, office hours training for Saturday, May 29th, 2021. It is 1:04 p.m. Eastern here, and I'm Tim Siebert, along with people from all over, team members from all over the world right now. One of our biggest trainings that we've done so far. So with that, I want to start off by saying that we'll take questions, but kind of hold your questions. I want to touch on a few things. I want to open up. This is going to be the can opener portion of the training, where I try to open your minds up to something that maybe you haven't thought about. We just brought out our Gen Boost. It just came in. All of the testing was done. Everything's done. Everybody's excited, but I want to really get you excited. Okay. Has anybody watched TV and seen the infomercials for Balance of Nature? Anybody seen those? The capsules? It's the same thing, but in capsules. Okay. This morning, I just got a report that in 30 days of advertising that product, in 30 days, they've done $7 million in sales of that product. Now, that might not sound exciting. It might not. But what I want to do with you is I want to share my screen. Can everybody see my screen? Okay. This is Balance of Nature. This is just the fruits and veggies, which, by the way, we have more in ours. Preferred customers on a subscription is $69.95. Retail customers, non-subscription, $89.95. Their whole health system, which includes fruits, veggies, fibers, and spice, which is similar to ours, but still doesn't have, it only has 70% of what ours has. Preferred customer on subscription is $109.95. Retail customer is $159.95. Just the fiber and spice preferred customers $49.95, $69.95 for a retail customer. Now, I wanted to share that with you, because here's a product in capsules that's basically the same thing that ours is. But ours, you'll have a little scoop. Ours, you'll have a little scoop right here. And you can, instead of bothering to try to swallow capsules, you can take a shake, a drink, almond milk, and put one scoop in it, stir it up real good, and enjoy it without choking to death. And ours has more than theirs. Now, they just did 7 million. Did I already tell you what they did? I don't remember that's my chemo brain. In the last 30 days, they did 7.1, to be exact, $million in sales from that infomercial at those prices. Now, Randy, you have our pricing sheet. I didn't bring our pricing sheet, and I can't remember with my memory. Our customers pay what for this? Oh, by the way, that's a 1-month supply for one person. This is a 2-month supply for one person. What does ours sell for to the customers?
Ours to the customer sells for $59.95.
$59.95, 2 months, one person. And our distributor cost is what?
This one I want to look and be sure of. I know the $59.95. $40.
That's what I thought. $40. That's $20 a month. What it works out to. Folks, this is a gigantic market. This is a phenomenal market. If this was the only product we had, and that was it, and it was sold one at a time for one price, 6 in a small case and 12 in a big case, We could build a $1 billion company with just this one product. But we have 4 products that have $1 billion potential. 4 products with $1 billion potential. There's not a company in this industry that gives that kind of opportunity to its team to build. Because if you've got somebody that doesn't care about superfood, but they love to drink coffee, we got their product. If you got somebody that doesn't like coffee, hates superfood, but maybe they suffer from inflammation or whatever, so then we've got that and this. And if you've got somebody that doesn't care about any of that, but they want to look 20 years younger, we've got that and that. Or if you know anybody that's buying CBD products from their local CBD store, then we've got this, and this. Does anybody know what, does anybody have a clue what the CDC said that we should do other than wear a mask? Didn't they say we should sanitize our hands everywhere we go? Folks, this stuff ain't cheap anymore. I remember back 3 years ago, you could get a bottle of hand sanitizer for 98 cents. That same bottle now sells for $3.99 to $6.99 for that same bottle. Now, if it's got aloe in it and it's got 60% alcohol or more, the aloe is no good. Understand that. It's no good. It loses 100% potency when mixed with 60% or more of alcohol. That's why ours is 80% alcohol, and ours has glycerin, which maintains 100% potency, and glycerin is a nature's healer for the skin. So that is the product portion of our training. Now, today's training, as I said, is going to be very short and sweet with a question and answer at the end. I wanted to talk about team building, okay, and communication. I have always been a team builder. I've always communicated through, back years ago, I did it with a landline phone and I did it through faxing, okay? Believe it or not, I had all my leaders on my team back in the 90s in a company called 21st Century Nutraceutical. I had them on a group speed dial on my fax machine, so I didn't get on the phone and end up hearing 30 minutes worth of family stories if I was in a rush to do something. So I would put the fax, I'd type up what I wanted to tell them. I'd put it in the fax machine. I'd hit the speed dial and send it out to all 10, 12, 15 of my leaders. And that's how we communicated. And that's how we built. We didn't have the computer and the internet. But today, we have all kinds of tools. We have Skype rooms. We have Zoom rooms. We can do it through, we can do it through landline, connections and everything else. So team building is important. Communication is important. Remember one thing though, everybody's lives are not identical. Everybody's lives are totally different. There's going to be somebody that might sponsor you that maybe is the hardest person in the world to get a hold of. And therefore you might think they don't care about you. But what we have to remember is we're in a world that just went through a 12 months of hurt, okay? And so many families lost during that time. We have to be a little more empathetic and sympathetic to people's lives. We have to be a little more understanding. You know, we've had a few people call us and say, man, I'm going to get going with this. I love what y'all done and everything. And I've tried to get my upline. I can't find them and this and that. Are they busy? Can you give me their phone number? Well, we can't. There's privacy laws that protect people from having their phone numbers and their personal addresses and email addresses given out. We're not even supposed to show it in the back office anymore if it's upline. If it's downline, we have the option to, but we're told not to, okay? Because we can get sued. Understand this, that if somebody can't give you their time, it might be because they don't have the time to give. They might have a son or a daughter that's going through drug rehab and they're having to stay by their side at the rehab center. They might have a family member they're caring for, a 90-year-old mother or father that can't walk and they're having to shuttle them in between appointments constantly. We are in a day and age where lives are just spinning faster and faster. How many of us can't believe how fast time goes by? The older we get, it's getting worse. Wouldn't you agree with that? So with that, we have to understand that sometimes what we have to do is we have to open up ourselves. We have to allow ourselves as leaders to take in strays, okay? We're in a day and age where I've never witnessed so many dogs and cats getting adopted. If y'all noticed that in the last 5 or 10 years, back 20, 30 years ago, man, you didn't hear about dogs and cats getting adopted, okay? And all the things that have come out. Well, in this industry, we're seeing more team building going on where everybody's included. Okay, even if they're cross line, even if they're upline cross line, even if they're downline cross line, we're seeing more and more of that because power is in numbers. Would everybody agree with that statement? That's powerful. And in turn, what goes around comes around. I'm a firm believer in that. When Randy and I built one of our largest teams ever in that little $10 a month company, back in the early 2000s, our team was growing crazy. And this company already had about 300,000 or 400,000 people in it outside of our team, Randy's and my team, that weren't a part of our team. They were totally cross-line. But you know what? Every one of them kept saying, I'm not getting upline support. Can I get on y'all's calls? Can I be a part of this? Randy and I never went to him and said, well, you know what? Do this, cancel out your distributorship and sign up your wife underneath us, and we'll build that position for you. Okay? Folks, that's unethical. That is hurtful. That is not something to be proud of ever. That takes away from somebody that just might be in a world of hurt already. That upline that they can't get a hold of, or maybe not supporting them right then and there. They might not be supporting them right then and there because maybe that person that's ready to go came in 3 months ago and the upline did call them every day, but they weren't taking their calls. Maybe they emailed them 50 times and they didn't respond to their email. So maybe the upline let them go until they were ready. But then maybe the timing was bad for the upline. But what Randy and I did was we brought in everybody from that company. We didn't say go cancel and come in under. We said, get over here, bring your teams over here. This was back in the day when webinars were just starting to be used. I can't remember that company's name, Randy, that we used. But that company back then, you could put a maximum of 50 people on a webinar, but every time we did, it froze up. It would get to 45 or 43 or something like that, and it would freeze up and it destroyed our webinar. We couldn't hold a meeting. So we told people it was set up for 50, it was set up for 40. That way we would try to stop it at 40. But we brought people in and we helped them build. And today, those relationships with those people are greater than they've ever been. They call us. They check in on Genusity. We've had several of them that have come on. They might be on this call. If you're one of those people, say me in there. But that we helped you achieve your success, even though you weren't part of our team, it reflected on our team. So That's kind of the philosophy that we're building here in Genusity, is the overall family, that somehow, some way we are part of the lineage. And with that being said, Randy, are you with me right now? He's always on mute.
I'm here.
Do you have anything you want to add real quick?
No, just be sure you go over, just briefly touch on that turbo income builder for Deb, I think it was.
Okay. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, everybody kind of listen up. Listen up. We have a software that's built in. It's not optional. Okay? Can't turn it on and off once you get it. It is part of our upgrade packages from Associate Up, and it's called GenPro. It's automated. What we realize is that 98 to 99% of all network marketers do not know how to either team build or use the move downline features that some network marketing back offices allow them to do. Plus, when you move somebody in one of those systems and mess up and put them somewhere wrong, their rules are you can't get them back. It's over with. That's where they went. So what we did was Randy and I came up with a templating system that maximizes our pay plan for you. It's done for people who make a commitment, who upgrade, and that's called GenPro. It builds the first and second level underneath you. Those are your money levels, so you don't ever lose out, okay? And what it does, if you're a free member, you don't have it. So let me start there. Did everybody understand that? If you're a free member, you don't get GenPro. And if you're a free member and you bring somebody in who's a free member, they don't get GenPro. Does everybody understand that? But now, let's say that Kimberly is a free member, and I just brought Kimberly in. And let's say I'm a diamond or a platinum or a gold or an IR or an associate. And Kimberly's a free member. And Kimberly brings in Amy. And Amy's a free member. And Amy sees the recorded webinar. And Amy thinks, you know what? I'm going to go option 3. I'm going to get started right now, and I'm going to upgrade to IR. And I'm going to buy the Gen Entry, and I'm going to buy the My Gen Start. What will happen is Kimberly will receive an email from the company saying, hi, Kimberly, you just had Amy Carpenter upgrade. You have 24 hours to upgrade. If you don't do that within 24 hours, I'm hearing somebody. You have 24 hours. If you don't upgrade, Amy will go to your upline upgraded sponsor and you will lose her. Now, folks, this system creates fear of loss and it rewards people who commit to building this business. And believe you me, we have had 100% upgrades when that happens. We have never we've had people call and complain, hey, I just got this email. I just brought this person in. They're going to be bringing in 1,000 people and da-da-da. And I'm going to lose them if I don't upgrade. And I just don't know how I can't. Like I said, y'all, if I had to stand on a street corner with a sign, or I would make a list of everybody I knew that I could possibly borrow $10, $20, $30 from, and I'd do it that day and make it happen. Okay, but that's what the system is designed to do. And it's exciting because it places them. It gets that person, it gets, Kimberly says, well, you know what? I'm going to get upgraded right now. She might even get on the phone and say, well, Amy, how'd you upgrade? Well, you know, I decided to go with that Gen Entry and My Gen Start and the IR package. Well, guess what Kimberly's going to probably do, y'all? She's Amy's upline, but look what she's going to probably do. Because she doesn't want to miss out on that fast start bonus. She doesn't want to miss out on Amy and Gen Entry, and she doesn't want to miss out on Amy and my Gen Start or Gen Cycler 2.0. And she's on her way to making money right then and there. So if you're a free member and you're getting ready to start building this, understand that you need to make a commitment. This is not one of those relationships where you date somebody for 5 years, 6 years, and are never wanting to commit. It doesn't last. It won't go anywhere. This is a company that's all about making people's dreams come true, and it happens with a commitment. So that's how GenPro Turbo Income Team Builder works. It's designed to create upgrades. It structures to maximize the income, your income, and it creates spillover on your first level. So people will spill over and fall wherever on that second level, and shows them that you're helping them and that they actually got something that they maybe have been promised for the last 10 years and never gotten any other company. Okay. And what happens when that fuse gets lit, folks? They take off. They start sharing it. They start growing. That's what this business is all about. So did that answer the question about GenPro? I think it was Deb that asked that question earlier in the, did that answer that for Deb? I think Deb's still on. Okay. So now, some of you are starting to utilize Safe List, okay? Let me say this. Remember one thing. I had somebody say to me, I got thank you, Deb. I got an instant message on Facebook from one of our team members that just started using them, and they've been using them. Started using them Monday, and they said they have only had one opt-in out of advertising all week. I said, okay, what'd you do with the opt-in? Did you contact them? Did you follow? Well, no, they haven't gotten in and they haven't replied to me. I said, you got their phone number? I said, yeah, have you called?
Hello.
Somebody's, don't unmute yourself. And they said, no, I have not had a chance to call them yet. I said, well, you definitely want to do that, because what if that's that one person that could bring in 10,000 people? And she said, but Tim, you know what? I advertised all week and this is all I got out of it. I said, well, take me through your week. Okay. Kind of like a doctor. Okay. If you went in the doctor and said, doctor, I don't feel good. Can that doctor diagnose you with that one statement? No, they got to know what your symptoms are. Well, the same thing goes here. Dr. Tim asked, I said, well, take me through your advertising on Safe List regimen for the week. Says, well, Monday I advertised to this Safe List and to this Safe List. I said, okay, when did you do that? On my lunch hour. I said, now where are you? She says, so I said, that's Central. So that's about 10 or 11 Eastern, right? She said, yeah. I said, well, that's probably one of the worst times to advertise. Okay, what about, and that's all you did Monday? She says, yeah. I said, what about Tuesday? She says, well, Tuesday I didn't do anything. I said, okay, what about Wednesday? Wednesday I sent to this one, and this one, and this one. I said, so you sent to 4? I said, when did you do that? She says, on my lunch hour. I said, okay. I said, when do you go to work? She said, about 9. I've got to be in at 9. I said, when do you get up? She says, I get up about 8. And I said, so you live close by to work? She says, yeah, about 5 minutes away. I said, is there a reason why you can't advertise at 7, get up at 6:30, advertise at 7 to 8, or get up at 7 and start advertising and advertise for an hour and then get yourself ready and go to work? Well, I that's pretty early, you know. I said, well, okay, take me through what was Thursdays. And she says, well, Thursday I advertised to this one and this one. I said, okay. I said, what was Friday? She says, well, Friday I didn't do anything. I said, so in 5 days, you advertised to 7 safe lists and you did it at the worst time possible. And you got 1 opt-in that signed up in Genusity with you. Is that right? She says, yeah. I said, well, let me say this. You haven't done I did more this morning in 1 hour than you did in 5 weeks at that rate. I said, this is about consistency and persistency. It's about advertising at the right time as well. Because if you're advertising and nobody's reading it, you're going to get nothing. And if your frequency is, well, I'm going to do it today, but I'll skip. That's kind of like somebody getting signed up to $1 million contract with the Carolina Panther football team and saying, well, you know what, I'm going to go to practice today, but I'm only going to go at lunchtime. And then I'm going to skip practice tomorrow. And I think I'll go back at lunchtime on Wednesday. And I'll do the same thing Thursday and skip. And then Friday I'll go to. Folks, it doesn't work that way. To build $1 million income, to build $100,000 income, to build a $25,000 a year part-time income, it takes consistency and persistency. It takes regiment, it takes timing, and it takes stick-to-itiveness. You have to treat your business like it's your business. You have to understand that if you don't have consistency, your customers, your prospects won't deal with you. It's kind of like opening up a store in a mall. If you don't post your hours, you're going to miss out on about 30% of the passerbys. Then, if you don't have your hours posted, but you open Monday for an hour at lunchtime, then and you do that every other day, then you're going to miss out on about 80% to 90% of your customer base. If you don't have products on your shelves, you're going to miss out on 100% of your customers and prospect database. So building a business is about committing to yourself, not to us, to yourself. Sometimes it's hard for people that have never owned a business, and I recognize that. You know, there's people that will never be a network marketer. Wouldn't y'all agree with that? They're just out there. You know, they're out there. They might look at us, okay, and they might say, well, those are the kind of people that they look at us and they say, well, do we get paid by the hour? I've had people say that to me. Do I get a base pay? I've got to make a sale. I'm not a salesperson. How many of you have heard that? They're out there. So this business is not made for everybody, but it's made for more people today than it ever has been in history, which means the opportunity is greater today and stocked with more fish today for those of us that love to fish than ever before. So recognize that, prepare yourself, create a system of your own, a regiment of your own. Understand what you put into it is what you will get out of it. You might be saying, but Tim, I'm 70 years old and, you know, I really want to lay out on the beach a little more often, even though I don't live on the beach. I want to lay on the beach more often. I spent the last 50 years working full time, and you know, I barely can make it on my Social Security. But you know what? I kind of enjoy my TV shows now that I missed out on for those 50 years, and you know, I just don't want to put that much time into this. Understand, if that's where you're at, we respect that, but you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. Be prepared for that. And understand this, that it might not hit right away for you. And what do I mean by that? Well, There are people that get in a company for 30, 60, 90 days, and then they're gone to another company. Does anybody know what you run into those people? Okay. There's an old story in this industry. Earl Shaw and I used to talk about it in a training that we did back in the 80s. And the story was of a young family moved to Texas. They wanted to be in the oil business. They bought themselves a couple of 100 acres. He sank a well, and he pumped on that well and pumped on that well day in and day out, and nothing, didn't get a lick of oil. Then he'd move it over and pump on that well and pump on that well, and didn't get a lick of oil. 60 days went by. Well, they didn't have any money coming in. They had sunk every dime into that property and that oil drill, the well drilling equipment and everything. And boom, they just moved it a third time and pumped on that well and didn't get a lick of oil. Okay. And the mortgage was due. They didn't have the money. They ended up moving. They sold it. They moved. The person that bought it said, huh, look at these holes. They must have, oh, that's right. They were in the oil business. I'm going to go out. They got some oil drilling equipment. They went over to one of the existing spots. They dropped it in there. They pumped on it for about an hour, hour and a half, and all of a sudden they hit a gusher. They went over to the other hole, did the same thing, hit a gusher. You see, folks, the first family wasn't fully committed. They allowed money to stand in their way of building a dream. They weren't prepared to do whatever it took and to stay focused on what their dreams were. And they moved. And this is the exact same thing that happens in this industry. So don't be one of those people that just get in and say, well, I'm going to give it 90 days. Okay. If you're only going to give it a week, an hour or two a week, you better give it about 5 years. Okay. If you're going to give it 10 hours a week, you better be prepared to give it 2 to 3 years. If you're going to give it 40 to 60 hours a week, you better be prepared to give it 12 to 24 months. And if you're going to give it your all, welcome to the gusher, because you will hit it a lot faster than anybody else will. So with that, that is it for what I've got today. I've got family upstairs, but what I'm going to do is we're going to do some Q&A based on the comp plan, based on the products, or anything that you could have a question. So at this point, what I'm going to do is allow participants to unmute themselves.